blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hey, welcome to the literal first episode of Metamorphosis 365. And I am Melikia K, Courtney. I'm going to be your guide on this journey, let's call it that, because I expect to be with you guys for a while. And I'm enjoying that vibe. First off, let me say thank yous, because that's how I begin most things. We got to start with gratitude. Thank you so much to Blast Radio 247 for connecting and offering me the opportunity to come in and have this conversation. And I wouldn't have had even that connection except for my Sunshine Cromwell of Shine Vibrations. So if you haven't gotten an opportunity to tune in to Shine Vibrations, let me go ahead and encourage you. You want to move for some poetry and some mischief and some fun? Yeah, definitely tap in with that. So now that I got the greetings out the way, of course, something wants to be in my eye, and that's okay too, right? There we go. So I have been running away from doing a podcast for about 3 years. Good evening. Hey, Miss Mackenzie. And I just didn't want to, let's be honest. I was ranting. But for a reason, though, because I'm busy doing other things that matter, not just being busy. I build communities. So this will be no different. We'll be building a community right here with you guys under the hat of Sanctuary Experience Metamorphosis 365. Let's talk about Sanctuary Experience because I think in all things like good books, you begin at the beginning, right? So Sanctuary Experience came to life, y'all. It came to life after an incident, and if you're going to tell it, then you got to tell it all. This is exactly what happened. I had to pee. It was simple. Almost died for peeing while up at home in Chicago, Union Station to be exact location, right? Had an male officer come in the ladies' bathroom out of control. Now, I don't know about you, but normally when I go to the bathroom, there's usually ladies in the bathroom. To shorten the story a little bit, the man was racist. He had his own opinions about folks that looked like me and where we needed to be and at what time and this, that, and the third. So it sent me off into, hey, Miss Fran? How about it sent me off into such a, I don't even know how to say it. I will say it this way, into such a level of anxiety that it made no sense. There was no reason for it, with the exception of he wanted to throw his man weight around, and guess what? He was the police, according to him, so he could. And turns out that was the fire that I needed to create something incredible. Let's talk about that. Sanctuary Experience began as an iteration for women of this skin color, for the melanated folk, to have a place to go and unpack traumatic events without judgment. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, the expectation is, hey, black lady, you going through some things. You know, you have things that hurt. It don't matter. Just keep going. Thanks, Scott. How are you? Keep going. That's the expectation, right? Only don't work that way. We have feelings. You know, we have hearts. We have needs. And in that time, y'all, I needed somewhere to provide sanctuary for me. Now, let me explain who I am. I am that person that go harass God. I will go harass God. And that's kind of what I did. Like, Lord, I need a response. I need a response to something so ugly. And the whisper in the spirit was sanctuary. I'm like, okay, well, what is that? You know, God hit me with the question, like, will you tell me? Well, it turned into a 3-day event where we were able to take the women away to beautiful locations, y'all. I'm talking gorgeous, gorgeous Florida, awesome hotels. I guess I could shout out the Edge. Let me shout out the Edge because they definitely did well with us for a time, right? Beautiful location and provided them like literally hands on attention, gave room for them to stop life, pause all those demands, the demands of work, the demands of being in relationship with men or with children or community. It gave us a moment to stop and breathe ourselves. I don't know about how many of you guys get to do that. Can you say that you honestly take time in your day to stop and breathe yourself? Well, if you don't, guess what? That's exactly why I'm here. I am here to remind you with this Sanctuary Experience Metamorphosis 365 podcast that you matter. You matter too. So we're about 8, 9 events down the road. About event 3, the men got to hearing what we were doing, loving up on these women. Like, okay, what about us? So, my heart is huge. My heart is huge, and I see the needs. Females are not the only ones that go through things. Females are not the only ones that experience tragedy and have nowhere to go to. And the great part about it is, once we put the boat in the water and sailed it, it's a message that translated from just female melanated to everybody. Because when I tell you the women that come, all colors of the rainbow, the men that come and attend virtually and attend master classes with me, we got all colors because I know how to love all people. Okay, so that kind of gives you a wave into what sanctuary experience is a little bit, because I'll tell you more as we go on. There's always more. But we just met. Let's go slow. Let's get to know one another. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What I will say is, you can connect with me. I have social media. I don't go hiding. There's only one that I remember that has a alter ego name, and that is Santa's Helper on Instagram. SANTAZHELPR. That's on Instagram. Everything else, Melikia K. Courtney. You can find me. You can find interviews, and you will find that my conversation is consistent. I have a heart to love people back to life. Yeah, it's simple. I grew up in Chicago, South Side. So if you understand what it means to be born in an area where it's at war, like they won't call it war, but baby, you best believe it's war. And it didn't hurt my heart. I'm still who I am. It made me stronger. So that's a strength that I add to life when I'm coaching, when I'm speaking, because I am a public speaker as well. A little bit more, you know about me, right? And my favorite thing on the planet, if we talk about favorite things, questions. I love questions because they kind of engage that static energy in me, that God energy, and that brings about sometimes the answer that someone's been looking for their entire life. So it is a joy for me to serve. It is a joy for me to show up. And guess what? On top of all of that working, I am a poet. I've been a poet and a speaker since like 7 or 8, 6 or 7. My mom had me out there. She was not playing about it because she knew I needed to speak. So I have been speaking, just not necessarily on a podcast. Definitely want to talk about the topic and theme, what you can expect. I would like for you guys to understand that you can expect high mischief, because I love a little bit of mischief, but you can expect a growth conversation. I believe that some people enjoy speaking for speaking's sake. I'm not that person. When I come, I want to talk about something. Now, yeah, there's time to goof off on Fridays on Clubhouse if you have that app every Friday for the last 4 years about. My partner and I, Scar Harrell, Father Time, and I am Lady Molotov in that zone. We have hosted a community and taken care of poets all around the world, which I really, really enjoy. So believe and trust me, I am one for the growth and I am one for the mischief. I did write myself a few notes just so that I don't swirl off. Okay, your expectations are set. The expectation is show up. I got expectations of you, right? I expect you to show up and to engage. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. I will do my best to answer those questions, straight from the heart. And if I don't know, I'm going to tell you, hey, listen, I don't know. But I go find out. Some things ain't for me to find out. Some things is work for you. And I will be putting you to work. Believe and trust me, I'm not human as well. If you are about the business of you, like if you find the importance of learning something new every day, okay? Building muscles out of the things that you've learned, building new habits. Okay, this is the podcast for you because we're going to have some fun. And I believe in knowing the people. One-sided communication, that ain't communication, that's just talking. So I do hope that you guys will communicate with me. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Send off the airplanes, hit all the bells, put the alerts on. Join me every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I think I covered a little bit of the basics. I will share with you what I'm passionate about. And I kind of think I did. And just in case I did not make it very clear, I'm passionate about people. Hey, Cheryl, what's going on? That's one of the people that I'm passionate about right there. I am passionate about seeing people win. Like I get happy when I hear folks come into my mastermind. We do mastermind 3 times a week, right? When I hear people come into mastermind and begin to share the accomplishing of their goals, listen, that lights up my soul right there. Happy camper. So passionate about people, passionate about poetry. I am a painter as well. Commissioned for paints, commissioned to perform. I'm who I am, and we'll get to that part a little bit later. I'll let you know why. I do as much as I do. So I think you know enough for now about why we're doing Sanctuary Experience. And I can tell you that the name of the show is a carbon copy from my private coaching group. In that group, we hammer in the importance of honor and the importance of daily growth. So I figured I would share. Now, mind you, you're not getting the same level that I share in that group because that's a paid group. However, you're welcome to join it, but I am still going to give some really, really great keys that matter and that make a difference because it's important to me that you grow. It's important to me that if God saw fit to put you in the hearing of my voice, yeah, baby, I got something to tell you. And if God whispers something in your ear from me, go ahead and drop it in the chat because I believe we sharpen one another, we grow together. And if anything around me ain't growing, it's gotta go. And if I'm around you and I ain't growing, guess what? I gotta go. So I'll be able to measure how well I'm doing by how well you're doing. Okay. So we done chatted up the first just about 15 minutes, and I really want to get to some teaching. Like I figured that it would be fair to share some keys and some value on one of the Sanctuary Experience for the women. I created a book called The Daughter's Heart, and from The Daughter's Heart, we taught about habits and healing and identifying self. And to me, like identifying self, that's huge. It's I think it's one of the biggest things that people kind of fail to do, for themselves, so to speak, and that's important. So I figured that would be a great place to start. Okay, so spiritual muscles, a great place to be on a Friday. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is. It's fun to be there on a Friday. Good evening. Hey, Miss Sophia. So I was reading messages and got distracted, but I'm back on point. Spiritual muscles. In order to build your muscles physically, it is that you have to build them spiritually, right? Like that's your first level. That's your first line of life is spirit. Anything that has happened physically, anything that you can touch physically had its beginning in the spirit. I think we have grown as a society far enough to understand that that's true and accept it. So I'm gonna pretend you nod your head, yes, and we agree in that. Okay, so then if that being true, let's run back to the spirit and have a conversation about habits and identifying yourself. And exactly what does that mean? You measure your habits by what you're doing every day, right? Sometimes we move in blindly because we've been doing it so long. It's second nature. And then something occurs that makes you sit down and go, okay, wait a minute. What was I doing? Let me give you an example. when I had that incident happen with the officer. I was in motion. Okay, I was taking my tail into the office. I was working in 2 offices actually, and building other people's businesses, working to network and grow. And of course, it benefited me, but it was exhausting. It was exhausting. I was not respected. I was not being paid without harassing for money that I was due. I had folks that looked down on me who made jokes openly, thought they were slick. Habla español, pero yo sé. And in other words, they speak in Spanish around me, but I understood what was said. So there was a lot of things that I was doing. It was my habit. It was my habit to show up. It was my habit to work 100%. It was my habit to give. It was my habit. Had something occur, and the same places that I laid my life down for, they was not interested in laying life down for me, not even interested in stopping long enough to come sit with me while I go make a police report about what occurred. See what I mean? Sometimes we move in them habits blindly. When that situation happened, okay, boom, let's stop and look what happened in the house of Melikia. What happened in the house of Melikia was I was spinning my wheels. I had no real traction and I wasn't moving forward. So I had to move back into the spirit. All right, what's going on spiritually, baby girl? You know, where's your heart? What is your mind? Where is the need? What made me feel like I needed to exhaust myself in that manner with those heartbeats and those humans, and not all of them, mind you, I have some beautiful people around me too, so do understand that. But at the same time, I needed an inventory, okay? So I cause you in this communication, I cause you to take inventory. Take inventory. Don't let it have to be something that occurs that knock you in your butt or sends you off into 48 hours of panic attacks to get your attention. Move spiritually. Move back into your spirit. You know, sit down with yourself. I do harass people to meditate. Yes, I do. I'm going to harass you to meditate. If you don't, I for real believe in it. It makes the difference. Well, Melikia, I don't know how to meditate. I hear that a lot. I can't sit still. My mind won't stop. These thoughts won't quit. Oh, yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. But it doesn't happen without you. So tool number 1, when you're asked, what's the first tool that she gave you? I gave you some keys. Those was keys. Let me give you a tool. This is a method. Oh, man, I almost told you part of the story. You ain't ready for it yet. I'll tell you that later. This method was developed some years before. It is the simplest thing and it don't cost you a thing. I'm going to give you those free tools and free methods, right? Can you see it? We got that background. There we go. See that finger go up, down. Very simple. It disappears into my screen, but I promise you it's my index finger. All I'm doing is raising it and lowering it. I'm pulling my physiology into this. I'm pulling spirit into this, into the physical. We have all met in one movement. This is a true full motion, okay? When I was doing this motion, I was only saying a little bit. God and I are one. That's it. God and I are one. It is the simplest meditation I can offer you. You can do it with your eyes open, pumpkin. It ain't hard. It's not hard. And then sometimes it may seem too simple to matter. Folks want these complex reasonings and answers. Hold up. Start simple. Start simple. God and I are one. Let that bring you peace. Let it bring you peace. I'll give you 2 keys today. How about that? Want another one? Okay. That's all y'all getting today, though. 2 keys today. God and I are one. And I want you using it, okay? And when you use it, hit me up and let me know. Slide my DMs. Like, listen, I'm practicing that. I'm using it as a mantra. And explain to yourself and to me, how is it making a difference in your life? Because it will if you let it. Key number 2, and I think this one is these are primary keys that I offer when I'm in first session with people, okay? Very, very simple. Very, very simple keys. When it comes to, again, we're back in spirit, right? What else resides in spirit, y'all? Thought life. Simple. Your thought life. Okay? I believe in God. So we're going to say it this way. I know the thoughts I think toward you. That should be very familiar to a few folks. The thoughts are thought toward you. Does that mean that you have to accept all of them? Does it mean that we grab all of them? Clearly you don't. But there are some thoughts that we receive, that we accept, and that we build upon them in spirit, get them weighted so heavy that they manifest in the physical. Okay? And it matters. A lot of the thought life that we engage are thoughts from when we were freaking kids, when we were experiencing traumas. The negative stuff, we got that down to a science. We got it on rehearse. We can tell you where we were, what time it was, who had on what, all of that. Not so much for the positive things, right, pumpkins? Okay, great. So with that in mind, let's talk about your mind. Uh-oh, let me make sure I'm not going over time. And I got a grown up in the background. Let me know when I need to pause. So grown up, let me know when I need to pause. But the fast forward looks like this. All right, it is simple. Thoughts were overriding me. Back to the bathroom with that officer after that encounter. The encounter was the encounter. That was it. It was flat. He caught me like center. There was nowhere for me to go. And when I say caught me, it wasn't like I was doing anything. Let's be clear. But he had to drop on me. I'll say it that way. To the point where he grabbed his gun, and I thought it was going to be a t-shirt. All right. After that time, that situation was over, right? That situation ended. However, the thoughts that kept me company afterwards, them bad boys was running me over like a train. Like those thoughts had me gone. There was all kind of connections, and I'll share those later, not today. But there were all kinds of connections that they linked to in me and all kind of triggers, right? But it literally was thought life. How do I know? Because physically, I was fine. Like chemically, yeah, I'm stressed the hell out. You coming face to face with a crazy who's racist and put a gun, yeah, sure. You're going to feel a kind of way. So I'm not dismissing that. What I am pointing to is I was able to walk out of that situation. But my emotions and my thought life had not. They took a little while longer to come along. Back to the key, okay? And let me know if you're tracking. Let me know if you're tracking. And you're understanding. And if you have questions, if I'm going too quick, let me know. Okay. Key. There is, and it may seem strange, and I'm okay with that too. You have the power to pull a thought from your mind. How do I know? Because I get many invitations from spirit to try and test the thing. Okay, and this was offered to me spiritually, and I received it. This was a thought toward me that I reached out and grabbed and embraced. And I used it, and it took me to a place that I had never been before. A silent mind. It was something as simple as reaching up with my fingers to my forehead, grabbing a thought that I did not want any part of anymore. Something negative or vile. Should we define that for you? You know what it is. Those horrible things that were spoken over you when you were a child. The things that were negative. You will never this, you will never have, you'll never be. All of that trash talk that was recorded and became loop in their voice until magically it switched over into your own and keeps you company in your body. We'll get to the business of the body, but here we go. Grabbing that thought in your mind's eye, pulling it out, and watching it through your mind's eye burn. Okay? And I'll just give you the first step of it. Begin to remove those thoughts. You do not have to own them. You do not have to own them. You're teaching yourself a new habit. That's what we're doing. I promise you, we're keeping it super simple. But I dare you to try it. Ooh, bang, bang. Dare you to try it, and then let me know how it worked for you. And I'm not asking you if it works. I don't have to ask you if it works. I did it for myself, so I already know it works. Okay? But these are two very simple things that you can engage to start out with. Yes, it gets a little bit more different and a little bit more layered the further we get into the conversation, but I promise you, start simple. Well, Melikia, I've been going to this, I've been going to that, I've been taking counseling, okay, that's fine. And it doesn't have to be an and or either. This is not that. This is an and, this is a plus, this is an add. Let's see, that's the biggest battle, is getting the thoughts. Hold on, let me move this up so I can see. Oh, definitely want to work on pulling the thoughts. We'll try it. Okay, Sophia, I appreciate that. And seriously, keep me posted on how it affects you. Pull that thought out Cheryl said it works wonderfully. Taught Cheryl that magic, and I promise you, kid you not, it works. And here's the thing, I ain't claiming ownership of it. I'm telling you out the gate, where did I get it from? I got it straight from spirit, straight from source, divine, sovereign God. Okay, so I ain't got to ask you if it works. It works. If you work it, we talked about habits that heal. That's the point, right? Habits that heal. My interest is, again, I told you, loving people back to life. And it is my promise. I'm going to do my best to keep it so simple. Simple things that you can engage that make the difference in your life. And here's what I do know. When we build a better adult, what does that mean? Like a healed adult. When we're able to silence that craziness going on in our minds, 60,000 thoughts a day. That's the statistics behind it. 60,000 thoughts a day. Now, some of those thoughts are on repeat. Imagine if you put a good thought in your mind and let that bad boy spin 60,000 times a day, a goal, and let it spin 60,000 times a day. How fast would you accomplish it? See what I mean? So it is my heart to teach you habits that heal. I'm going to flip over into identifying self, but I want to make sure that, hold on. I just realized that I have this blocked. Okay, good. All right. Making sure that I'm not cutting into his time. So I do want to talk to you about identifying yourself. No, I'm not ready unless you're ready. Okay, so I'm reading back messages and chats. Just let me know how much time I have, and then I'm gonna go ham, and then I'll move as you say move, sir. Because I believe in a child position. Okay, great. So we talked about the identifying self. All right. A lot of times we get the conversation of, okay, what is your purpose? Oh man, I remember struggling through that for many, many years. Why am I here, God? What am I supposed to be doing? You know, the whole song and dance. And I grew up with religious framework. So the humans around me were truly about that life and offering the purpose of making disciples, I could say it that way. But what was really never clear in that was self. You know what I mean? Well, forget yourself. Joy, Jesus, others, and then yourself. I don't ascribe to that anymore. I think that is truly asinine. And folks ain't really gotta like it. Because I'm be me all day. I'm be me tomorrow too. Watch. So it left out the importance of knowing yourself. You know? Knowing yourself. I was told who I was. I was told that I was going to perform. I was told that I was going to be a powerful speaker. I was told that I was ridiculous and a few other horrible things that we'll talk about another time, not today. I had many things spoken over me, some positive, some truly, truly nasty and negative. And I said that is who I was. Well, you go to school. Now the people there want to tell you who you are. They want to tell you how well you do in school with their rote learning, right? And if you are not able to excel in that, well, then you're not smart. You know, I'm being polite here. And back in the day, they said it freely. There was no PC, no political correct jack, okay? So with that in mind, I had a whole bunch of definitions of who I was from a bunch of other people. Everybody got an opinion about who you are. And I promise you, even as an adult, folks will have an opinion about you. And in work, they will try to push you into this bucket or into this hole. They need you to be this kind of person for them or that kind of person. However, who do you need you to be for you? Have you ever really stopped being everything for everybody around you and complying long enough to define you for you? And with that, I'll get back to that when we come back from this break.
Yes, indeed. Great show, Melikia. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Appreciate you.
Good evening, everyone. Our artist for tonight is my good friend. His name is Yamasani. He is based in Texas. And the name of this song is called The Love Tornado. Check it out.
You gotta love yourself. Forward, forward. Oh, yeah, you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself.
Gratitude, I've woken up to see another day. It's time to stretch, then meditate. 5 in the morning and young still asleep. Got my workout and I'm brushing my teeth. It's time to study, it's turning 6. They young in their rooms, still sleeping like bricks. Pray to my spirit God, need an assist. Spirit God told me I'm being too strict. Yelling and screaming too much. Each moment seems like a fuss. Adrenals out of sequence, frequency frequently. So I've been seeking the secrets of us. Spirit God told me I stay on the move and don't make enough room for some breathing and touch. But we can adjust. Spirit God told me to be sure I'm sleeping by dusk and trust. Cause you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, Queen. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself.
You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. Oh, no one can do it for you. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself.
You need some time to do yoga. Tell other priorities to move over. Know who you are when you sober. Put down the liquor, put down the doja just for a day. If it's too hard, you're nowhere close to yourself, you're too far. Some of us stay on the bottom like tar. Some of us rise up as high as a star. Some of us stay in a melancholy state of mind, looking up and don't try at the bar. Which one of you? 1, 2, or 3? You and yourself need to come to agree. Only opinion that matters is your inner chatter, and that's how it has to just be. Well, yours and the Lord's, of course, but God is what's happening above. Down here, you gotta love.
You gotta love yourself. Oh, no one can do it for you. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself.
What's your perception when you look in the mirror and see your reflection? Do you see royalty and perfection? Do you feel loyalty and connection? Do you feel like you're favored with blessings? You're greater than, do you feel less than? What's your biggest fears? What brings you to tears? Your peers, it appears no affection. Or do you feel stressed from the way people looked as you left cause you came with aggression? Or is it the fame and protection you seek that deplete you, defeat you, depression? This song is a pill that I'm giving that's too hard to swallow from deep indigestion. But I hope it leaves an impression and keeps you progressing. The message is you gotta love.
You gotta love yourself.
No one else can do it for you. You gotta love. You gotta love.
I am an active listener. I am present. Very knowledge, belly free.
And yes, that was Yamasani with Love Tornado. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet, or even an up-and-coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also needing the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, just like you heard from Yamasani, you can also register at blastmusic247.com as a fan and have access to hundreds and hundreds of independent music. Blast. We are constantly changing the industry one artist at a time. All right, Melikia, back to you. Don't forget to unmute.
I'm glad you added that key point. I'm learning, you guys. This is my day one. My day one is gonna be Veep because I understand that it takes a community. Like seriously, I'm a heavy part of community and I need community too. So thank you, Veep. I appreciate you, Troy. It matters, it matters. All right, y'all. So I want to jump back into the identifying yourself portion, and I guess free speak it. I want you guys to, for my note takers, as I'm sure that there's going to be a couple of those around. So I want to make sure that my note takers have a little something to take back and reflect on. And let's talk about reflecting. When it comes to identifying yourself, when you're moving out of that construct of having been identified, whether it was positively or negatively, some people had a beautiful experience. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so smart. You know, you can do anything. You could be this, you could be that. Some folks did not. Okay, regardless of how you started, you were identified rightly. Like you can't judge it because you were born to these parents. And I am one of those humans that believe before you came into the body, you chose those parents. So bless God, they did a good job. You still here, okay? So let's breathe and forgive. But reflect on your values. That is one way to immediately walk into owning your identity. Our values are they're scattered around us, kind of like the cookie crumbs, you know, you pick up and you eat. That is the benefit of family. That is the benefit of community. And at the same time, baby, you still get to choose. You get to choose. And reflecting on your values is really one of the best places to start. You can consider what values are important to you, okay? And how does those values shape who you are? Okay, how do your values shape who you are? You know, literally, if you sit and think about it for a minute, I have a core value of family. Family first, because that was my first gift. I will stop the world for my family. If I got it, they got it. Okay? That is something that shapes me. That is something that I believe in. That is something I examined because I believe in pulling everything under that microscope of, what are you and do I believe you? And are you serving me? Are you allowing me to become the best and to exist as the best me without hindrance? That's the importance of pulling those values into view. Okay? Some people didn't have those values. Some people did not have a value of family, but maybe it might be worth adding it. Some folks did not have the value of we don't steal people's stuff. We go out and get our own. Okay? Maybe it's worth pulling those values into the lens of introspection. Okay? And deciding, how do you identify who you are meant to be from who you want to be? Great question, Scott. How you identify... Keep that question up there for me because I'm a muller. So, who you are meant to be from who you want to be. I'm going to ask you, why does it have to be two things? So a little bit of a question with a question, that's step one, but let's step back a little bit. You have clues. You have clues. You know what your skills are. Your parents are truly clutch in this. They're really key. And they help you understand what you were able to excel at in childhood, what was innate to you. And even if you didn't have parents that identify that for you, you could sit back and look, okay, what is innate to me? What is second nature to me? What can I do like it's breathing? What is a part of me? I cannot be quiet. I gotta take it back. I like silence. But there is something in me that presses, that will not let me be when it comes to justice, when it comes to love, when it comes to service, when it comes to I ain't taking your beep, beep, beep. There is something that presses. It is a part of me. It is my blood. It moves like I move. It is water for me. Okay. So what is your water? What is your water? And what do you want to be? I believe that within reason. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, you 5'3", you 5'3", you want to be 6'4". Well, I want to be 6'4". Okay, pumpkin. You got to take that up with your mom and dad. Okay. You got to go ahead and learn these quantum physics and genetics and go in and turn some things on and off in your body and figure it out. Okay. But within reason, if you want to have a career change, well, I wanted to be a singer. I love music. I sing every freaking day, y'all. I do not live the life of a singer. However, I sing every day. Okay. See what I mean? You, within reason, get to define that. You get to identify who you are meant to be. And the same mention that I brought up purpose earlier. A lot of folks want to say what your purpose is. Go find your purpose, 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 purpose. Well, let me cut to the chase for you and give you some peace. Your purpose is what you say it is. Period. Your purpose is what you choose it to be. That's your purpose. Now, I will say there are times where divinity steps in and says, hey, listen, I would like for you to X, Y, Z. And then even in that, sometimes we get a choice on whether we step up and accept that assignment or not. But it's still going to be based on who you innately are. And I hope that answered the question for it. It still will be based on your gifts. Sometimes we have to go learn some skills and build our muscles. I've had to reinvent life, right? And that's okay. I think we kind of get a little downhearted when things don't go the way we think they should. This is what I want to be. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's be a 2-year-old for a minute. I'm 5 now because I hit my 5, so I'm 5 years old now. Let's talk about want just for a quick second, and we're getting back to identity because I want to give you at least 2 of those, or as many as I can before we're done. Want, if you go ahead and take that word back to the beginnings, the origins of it, the etymology, the meaning, the weight, and I break it down like that because it's important to understand that everything has weight in the spirit. You're going to find me jumping back into the spirit a lot because that is what is real. Everything else illusion. Okay. So want is the absence of. It's the absence of. I want it. Oh, I want. Well, you could spend a lot of time wanting if you like. Because I do not fight people for their stuff. If you want to want it, feel free. Okay? That is a state of being. I want. It is a hunger. It is an absence. It has no proper weight in the direction of manifestation. In fact, it has a proper weight in the direction of absence. Okay? Now I was only supposed to give you 2 keys today, or 2 tools, but do understand, if you can really work that in your mind and gather those thoughts, you will come to understand that it is time to act. Action is what brings your physical weight. Okay, it is what adds in spirit, right? We're gonna talk about, there's so much to talk about, y'all. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about creation. We'll talk about what it takes to fertilize a desire. Okay, we'll talk about that later on because I don't want to just like need out the gate. But if you can at least work to understand that position of want, research it, understand it, mind your language, and then choose. I will push you into action every freaking chance I get. I will push you into action every freaking chance I get. I will push you into action every chance I get because you win that way. Sitting around wanting it ain't gonna change a damn thing. That's a potty word. I don't know if I can say those on these podcasts, but how about that? That's potty word. But it's not gonna change a dang thing for the polite people. It's not gonna do that for you. So decide if you want it, how bad, and is it a want of words, or is it something that you desire enough to take an action, make a plan, figure out how to possess that thing? So that's how I would answer your question. And I you let me know if that answered your question in the chat. And thank you for that. You have great questions. You're a killer question asker. I appreciate that. So exploring your interests, back to self-identity. When you begin to identify yourself for yourself, loves, your values, and the things that interest you. A lot of us grew up with, hey, parents that said, you are going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a plumber, you'll be an Indian chief, whatever that comes with it. They have aspirations and dreams for us, and they push us in those directions that they see fit. And that, again, is fair. That's the reward of parenting. We get to order and demands and stuff. However, the great joy in coming of age is choice. You'll hear me say that a lot too. Choice, choice, choice. So, what interests you? Do you know? Okay, awesome. Thank you. And yes, I appreciate that. If you've not really sat down to understand what feeds your heart, that really holds your interest. I love books, 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 books. And I love my paints and tactile things and speaking and humans. I enjoy the humans. And then sometimes I enjoy my silence. Like I had to sit and explore me. I'm probably the most extroverted introvert you and me. It's enigmatic. And I thank God for building and developing me. And at the same time, I had to sit and understand my interests, because my interests at the time of inspection was everybody interest around me. You know, I kept my books, but I was interested in everybody else's interest. And then as women, we are definitely trained that way to take interest in what our man is interested in. Okay, then add a couple of kids. Guess what? Now we need to be interested in what they're interested in. Add 20 years. Now we lost. That's why folks get divorced. They don't even know themselves. How they gonna know and love you? Quit playing. So it's imperative that we begin to identify ourselves for ourselves. Let's talk race. You black, you white, you green, you orange. Now I speak the language because it is something that helps us. It's something common that we can relate to. But there is only one race, baby. It is human. There is only one race, human race. Okay? So when we take on the identifying marker of a race, then we take on all of the things that come with it. All of it. Plight, stress. And it's not to say that these things are imaginary. They are not. They exist. However, again, choice. I see people in my skin color doing fine. 7 to 8 figures. Got phone numbers. We talk. So I'm saying, I see people happy, in love, doing life. So it is what you identify with, who you choose to be, and who you write yourself as. And you're writing all the time. I don't know, like our fingers aren't moving, but do you understand that mentally you are writing and speaking all the time? Writing and speaking and creating all the time. So wouldn't it behoove you to choose at least what you're going to say? It does. It behooves us to take a minute and let me identify me for me. I've been rocking this hairstyle because this person said it was pretty and they liked it. Only I wanted locks. I went years without my locks. I wanted locks for years on years on years, but I was told don't do it. Guess what? Happy. And go and throw some colors in them. So it's a matter of it is a matter of your values. It is a matter of exploring your own interests. And then I'll give you the third one. I think we have time. Embracing your individuality. Celebrate your unique qualities, your own talents, your own quirks, your own opinions. The way you scratch, itch, and fart. Celebrate you. It ain't that hard. It is not that hard to have we know how to have pink parties. Folks know how to do that. But what about a passion party for yourself? Being passionate about you. Things that make you unique. I seen this female who licked her elbow. God forgive me, I almost laughed out the chair. It was absolutely great and it was freaking hilarious to me. I love comedy. But that's some strange. I can't lick my elbow. I can't do it. To see her do it. That thing lit me up. It was funny. And it was uniquely her. And there was no shame, no shade, no embarrassment. She got to do herself 100%. Can't beat that. Can't beat that. And we spend so much time living for everybody else. Why? Why can't you have a part of your life? Why can't you be the author of who you are? For a while. Other people had a turn. What about your turn? I'm here to make sure you get your turn, that you get your time in a ride. Literally why I said yes. And it was time to say yes. Like I felt honored to be able to come to you guys and share the years. Y'all, I have had years of on the job training because I was a little bit hard head. I was one of them slow bunnies. My daughter's business is called Rude Bunnies. My three daughters, and slow bunny is a joke that I make. I was a slow bunny. They have a brown bunny, a black bunny, and a beige bunny under their brand. Listen, I was the slow bunny, okay? And I had to learn some things the hard way. Some things I was pretty quick on. Some stuff I'm straight slow on. And it benefits you. It benefits the people that I coach. It benefits the folks that I teach, the people that I love. Because I literally took time to learn it in a way to teach it. Like I had somebody whisper that to me somewhere along the road. When you're learning, learn it so well that you're able to teach to someone else who needs it. That is who I am. And I was able to identify that for myself. That is who I am. And it's been a treasure. So my background, I have a background in law enforcement and behavioral health modifications. I'm an assessor. I am that person that some people call to come sit in the room when they're about to hire people, just so that I can get a look at them and see how they behave and help them decide if this is a good fit for their company. I am the person who listens. I'm a trained listener as well. And then solutionist. I believe in solutions. So I'm offering you these solutions. These simple, free solutions. And they're free thanks to Blast Radio 247 because I charge. I charge well. Because I've earned it and I'm worth it. And I paid a lot to learn. How about that? Paid a lot. I will give you this last thing too. This is something simple that again I paid a lot for, but I think it's practical and it's useful. And you can begin to use this, and you let me know how it sits with you. It's a simple act of forgiving. The simple act of forgiving verbally. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Simple. It is a simple prayer. It is a simple act. You can use it with a person, or you can use it completely speaking to yourself, talking to God. It's a whole Ho'oponopono prayer. Very, very simple. Simple. But how much impact does the simple thing make? Right? Some folks want to put 7 figures on it and then it makes sense to them and they can apply it. Well, once again, we touch back to the Bible for a quickness. Dude had stones, smooth stones, and being down a giant. I'm offering you them smooth stones. If you're wise enough to hear and grab it and apply it. I say things in a light manner. You're going to see me smile because that's who I am. Sometimes you might see me mad. I may be growling. But somewhere along the way, a smile going to come through. And even though it's said with a smile, it's as serious as if someone was yelling. I would prefer not to yell at you. And you would need to let me know if you're one of those people who are truly hard to learn and you need me to yell a little bit. Just let me know. I can yell a little bit. I can yell. I know how to yell a little bit. Thank you. Hey, Logan, what's going on? My people in the building. My partners in the building. I love people, y'all. I love people. And I will be letting the other folks who are going to be mad because I didn't even send them the link. But they can be here next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm hoping that you are here as well next Tuesday. And I'm going to ask the adult question too because I really don't know. Oh, that's right. I remember the answer to that one. I don't even need to ask. I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm excited to grow and learn. And I'm glad you're on the ride for me. And it looks like I got a few minutes, so I'm going to share. It's a couple more. And then I really am going to stop. I promise. Because I think we're going to do like an hour together for the most part. Sometimes when I come here, it won't be me. It'll be me coming to say hi. And then I'm going to share some of the interviews that I've done. Got an interview some really awesome people. There's 2 favorite ones that I was able to pull off. That was one with George Fraser, if you guys are familiar with him. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant mind. Power Networking Conference guy. And then billionaire Michael Victor Roberts, Brain. And I feel like the wisdom that they shared can be shared here. And then I have free reign because it was an interview that I did and they allowed me to share it wherever I want to share it. So I'm going to share it here too. And then there'll be a few other things. You can also expect from time to time, I'm going to bring my friends and we're going to play a little bit because I told you I believe in mischief. So we're going to have a little bit of mischief, salt and pepper style up in here. But for the most part, it's time to learn. It's time to build our mental and spiritual and physical muscles and make the difference we were born to make, the difference that we were created to make, the difference that we choose to make, the purpose that we take on as our purpose, not the pressed upon and made, but the chosen. So I am overly excited to be a part of your life. I'm grateful. Thank you for your time and your attention. And I dare you to put those simple tools to work. I dare you. Triple dog dare you for those who do that. I triple dog dare you to do it. Put it to work. Consistently, daily. Let's make that real clear. Consistently and daily. I did it consistently. I did it daily. Got another one. I removed those dots. I got to pulling them bad boys out and setting them on fire and letting it go. I would watch the ash. Like I literally developed my mind to that point where I could see it light up. Watch that ash. Let it go. And refused it when it tried to come back and think with me. No, that is no longer my thought. I don't have to entertain that thought. And when we get back together, I'll give you the second half of that action. And because I didn't get it at first, I got the first part first, I got the second part second, and that's how you're going to get it too. That's how this going to work. So I find that fair, and hopefully you do too. Thank you for joining me. It's been a for real pleasure. From time to time, you'll get to hear some excerpts from my books. I am an author and formerly a ghostwriter. I do my best not to do too much ghostwriting now because I'm very busy with Sanctuary Experience. But I do have one more project that I've taken on. Looking forward to it. And it's awesome because people cannot just reach out and hire me. You got to know somebody when it comes to the writing end and the editing end of life. And they refer them to me. So I get to say yes or no. So I'm grateful about that. And you'll hear from time to time things that I've personally written. Okay. And some fun stuff. But for the most part is seeds of growth. Because I want you to grow. Okay. I think that's fair. I think we can agree on that. Okay. With that, I'm here to love you to life. I'm Melikia K, Courtney, and it has been an honor to offer you episode 1 of Sanctuary Experience, Metamorphosis 365. Daily growth. Thank you.